you've been talking about an anchor on your ankle.
Yeah.
You felt very strongly about an anchor. And then after we had lunch and we went by the cemetery to show you the cemetery, what do you call those big things? Monuments or something? I don't know. Anyway, there's this angel at the top that has an anchor on it, and we have a picture of that. And you went, oh, there's my anchor. And that anchor was my father's family. Anyway, so there is a definite connection there.
That was unknown.
Yes. To you.
Yeah.
Unknown to me,
Yeah.
because I had been doing this spiritual stuff. Anyway, there you are.
I feel like I just really wanted an anchor, and after I was thinking more about like, if people always ask like, what do your tattoos mean? And I didn't want to it was my first tattoo, so I thought I couldn't say, I just wanted it. So I kind of thought about it, and I was like, okay, like staying grounded, like I don't bring an anchor, heavy, it's full of
anchoring.
Yeah, it's anchoring. Yeah. So that's the kind of the words that I could tack to it, but I mean overall it was a thing that resonated with me, and I wanted it for like years, and then I finally got it for first tattoo.
So when you were at the mausoleum and you shared that experience, did you feel anything? Like goosebumps or like hair on your neck?
I did, but I think it was my first time there, and I also didn't even know that was there. And so I was taking it all in general, but I think I just definitely felt a connection.
Yeah, I don't know right now how much you want to get into the spiritual end of it.
I think it's time, isn't it?
Is it? And I have found out who's reincarnated in a few people. Some is good and some is not. But you're the reincarnation. I've been so emotional today. I'm tired and stuff.
This is hard work, man.
It's just, I do this every once in a while, and I haven't for a long time, maybe tired. Anyway, from my grandfather. And the thing that's so interesting is, I have some pictures of you and Lacey. And Lacey, when you were two little tiny things, Lacey is the reincarnation of my grandfather's cousin Hans, who was on the ranch. This is only me, I don't know. But anyway, they were very, very close. And so you came back together. With me, I just got the knowledge from above. And you come back, this is my belief, when you come into the world, you come in with the drapes closed, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to handle all of your past lives. Yeah, and you're not supposed to, because you're supposed to work through it in this lifetime with the problems that you have. And my grandfather was very special to me, and apparently I to him, because I was the only one that was called up to be in the hospital when he was dying, and he gave me a little horse. It's broken, but somebody walked it around too hard or something. But yeah, I have it. And he lived on the ranch with us for quite a while. He had Parkinson's. So anyway, and Hans was very special to me. He helped me on the ranch. He did a lot of things for me. My father's father had a ranch. In fact, he had the ranch that we had in part of his thing. And he was also very prominent in Dixon. He was in charge, he was the banks there in town. And was a big farmer also. But did a lot. I don't know There are others that know more about, and I've forgotten about. I don't know if his was land grants or what when they came. But yeah, he had a big ranch south of town. Always raised everything. Not so many cattle, but sheep and he did have some pigs, but that wasn't, sheep was his main thing, and his family were all around there too. So, but in the paper you had talked or written about how alcoholism played a lot toward the divorces that were in the family. That's it.
What? Okay.
And I think it had something to do with it, but there's a lot more deeper than that. And we didn't talk about it or anything back then.
Yeah.
Or when you wrote it. So, anyway, especially in my end of it, alcohol did play a lot in the end, but there was a lot more in between the gambling and the pathological lying and the whatever else.
With
Chuck,
okay.
your uncle.
Mhm.
So, and I don't know that it had anything to do with your dad and your mother. Well, yeah, it did. Alcohol played a lot part in that initial whatever tryst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting together. I
Yeah.
guess. Post divorces.
Yeah, so I guess it.
Was that what your paper was about, Paige?
But if I remember correctly, that was when I was taking a marriage and family counseling class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was picking a subject that was I think the idea was trying to get all the students to realize that there are things that happen in every family that just kind of has a trickle-down effect, or I don't know, kind of just to normalize a lot of families' issues, kind of. So she wanted us to dig deeper in personal experiences with, I guess, like trials that families go through that affects not only the person going through something like alcoholism, but the way that it affects everybody else in the family, kind of. But
Definitely, and definitely alcohol has played a large part in my family growing up. On my mother's side, all of them were drinkers. On my father's side, all of them were drinkers. And a lot succumbed to it, died because of it. And so and being exposed to AA and the counseling that we went to up at St. Helena's, the instructor said that if there's alcohol in your family, then you are really susceptible to it.
so an interesting thing that I learned about addiction, how they say it's hereditary. It's not addiction to that same thing, it's the susceptibility of becoming addicted to something that kind of gets passed down. And sometimes it just happens to always be alcohol, sometimes it's
other
anything
things.
else.
I'm trying to think of the woohoo receptors in your brain that when they activate.
Endorphins.
That's the ultimate stuff that they produce.
Yeah.
But it's the
At the time when you're using or drinking. But not afterwards.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was
with,
interesting.
with Chuck, did that, because he was an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that impacted your family, your kids. And I was wondering how you see that flow to Paige. Paige, your dad is Dale? Yeah. So your grandfather, Chuck.
Your great uncle. Great uncle. Because he's Dale's brother. And would be your dad's brother, your uncle. Yeah, and with Chuck, he had every other alcoholics. You know, he just didn't stop with alcohol. He had all of the other
Addictions.
yes, all of them. So the pathological lying, definitely. And all the others, which I don't have to mention. He loved big parties.
Yeah.
Big parties because then he could flit around,
Yeah.
and he did not like to disclose anything about himself. Nothing. Yeah. We went to counseling, and the counselor said, "I will never reach him." And Chuck said, I will get them on the couch before they get me. I should have left him his first year. Our last big fight was, "You're going to die and you're going to leave me with all these kids." No, he said, that was about me.
Oh, brother.
When I was first diagnosed. And I said, "No, I'm going to live and I'm going to make your life as miserable as you have made mine."
Oh boy. How about this?
That's the most I've ever talked about, except to Barbara. I've told Barbara, she keeps saying, "We're going to dig him up. We're going to dig him up."
Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara Seaver.
Oh, that Barbara.
Yeah.
You guys are alone together? You and Barbara?
All the time. The Dale that your dad was named after, they talked, but I would not want to repeat what they talked about.
What was my dad named after?
That Chuck's best friend, Dale Fairley, was his name. Yeah, and his
Was
other
he
best
a
friend,
nice guy?
William, like Chuck.
He had
very. I mean, they were very personable when they wanted to be, and yeah, Billy Reagan had, as Chuck used to say, had more degrees than a thermometer from college, and he was super smart man, and not, he was a very small man, but so he named him after Dale William. That was
So is
and Dale was Lita's first husband.
Okay.
You know Lita.
Yeah.
And Ann, her first husband, and we did a lot together. But he was a gambler also, and he was a liar also, and he was a philanthropist also. And I mean, my kids are all like they were when they were born.
I mean,
They're the personalities.
My mom says the same.
Yeah.
She has a journal, and she wrote down like how each of us are going to be, and it's how we are right now. And I wish I had a picture of it.
That's almost disgusting.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Same temperaments, same everything. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I was the best one.
Yeah.
She said. They took me out all the time, didn't cry. They kept me out.
You were a good baby. An alcoholic. And in later years, why the kids would say, "Well, don't go talk to him after 10 o'clock," or something. But yeah, his dad and Elvin, Chuck never told me that his dad was an alcoholic. Never. And we were engaged, and Elvin, when Chuck was overseas, Elvin had held his family at gunpoint in the house.
Chuck's dad.
Chuck's dad, Elvin. And the police said, "We can't do anything until he comes out of the house." And they finally got him out of the house. And then when I met him, he was in rehab and had been down in rehab in Martinez for, I think he was down there, I don't know, know if it was a year and a half, a long time. And he had come home, and he asked me if I could give him a ride back because I was going back down to college, and I said yeah, sure. And he said, and that's when he told me why he was down there. But Chuck never talked about that at all. He told me that that he lied when he was playing ball in high school. He would tell his dad that he was playing in Winters when he would be playing in Vacaville or someplace, so his dad wouldn't show up.
A sausage biscuit, because I wouldn't eat eggs, and then you would get an egg McMuffin with a large orange juice.
Yep, that was it.
And you always gave me your hash brown because I always wanted to.
Yeah, those trips to the zoo were fun. And I don't know if you remember going into Mills College.
Kind of.
Oh,
I remember a little bit.
we went.
walking around.
That's where I went to school.
And then
Yeah.
I think I was really confused when you told me your major, because it was home ec, right?
Oh yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, that was a. You studied that?
Yes, I went in, got into Mills with. I was going to be a PE major, and then it was going to be occupational therapy, and then when I knew I was getting married, I went home ec. But I liked that because it was. I had a lot of science in it, and I found out I really liked science. So anyway, but yeah, when we drove in there to Mills, you jumped out of the car and you ran all around the lawn in front of Mills Hall, and we're so excited. And
That's
I
like
thought, I want her to go to school here.
I think I didn't want to go because I thought it was still an all-girls school.
Oh, it is. It is. They
I thought they had changed it to.
no, years ago, the college needed money and such, and so they were going to open it up to the men, and the girls said no, and the fathers
yeah.
picked up the tag.
Yep.
So it's still.
You think
I
they
mean,
still
they're-
have a home economics major?
Oh, it's a big major there. Yeah.
Still?
Yes. It encompasses all kinds of chemistry and stuff. Back then, I could have gone into teaching. I could have gone into chemistry. I could have gone into anything that we had to take it all.
I never thought of that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and children in the community. I could have been a social worker.
Sure.
I could have done any of that. Yeah, I look back now and I think I wasted an education. I don't know why my parents kept me there. I knew I had to get a C to stay in college, and
So
I
I'm
didn't
taking
take a
out
test,
this.
and I didn't do anything except go to class sometimes.
A lot of people at my school said D's get degrees, so there's a lot of people like that still.
I don't even know how I got into college. I took college prep, of course, so I guess I was, but I didn't feel smart. I didn't feel anything. And the first time that I thought, well, maybe I might know something, was I was sitting in a class, and the teacher asked questions, and I never raised a hand anyway, and I thought, oh, I thought of that. And I thought, well, maybe I'm not so dumb. We had to write a lot. We had to write in high school to get in our college prep courses, but we didn't always have writing papers and stuff. No, I didn't volunteer much. I didn't volunteer at all. But in Spanish, we had to have 2 years of college, and I got in with a year and a half. So I only had to take a half a year. And I don't know what else, but yeah, I was brainwashed into being dumb. Well, I could never, with Sadye Ann. Sadye Ann was always considered the smart one.
Your sister?
Yes. And I could never get anything more than what Sadye Ann got. And I learned that a long time before that. So I never did. I never tried, never did. And she was very good. Everything she did, she was very good at. So I knew I couldn't.
you think you could?
My mother.
And her.
And Sadye Ann?